Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to everyone present here. I am Antara Kundu, Program Director, South Asian Institute for Advanced Research and Development. Thank you for joining us in this national brainstorming session on challenges and adaptations in maintaining building regulations in hilly states. On behalf of SAIARD, I extend a very warm and hearty welcome to all the distinguished guests, delegates, speakers, participants, and each one of you present here. Your presence and insights are invaluable as we explore innovative solutions to the unique challenges faced in these regions. Together, let's pave the way for safer, more sustainable development in our hilly states. This event has been organized by SAIARD. So now, without making any delay, may I now request Professor Bishwajit Roy Choudhury, Founder Chairperson SAIARD, to give his welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Andhra. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. So thank you, first of all, and very thank you to our honorable distinguished delegates for today's webinar session on the challenges and adaptation in maintaining building regulation in hill states. So as SAIARD is also acting as a policy advocacy think tank in case of the particularly climate change, sustainability and disaster resilience sectors, and obviously through the application of geospatial technology, emerging technologies, and already address several issues and different sectors, and different people have been connected through our different initiatives. So today's webinar is one of the trademark or program where we would like to know and hear about some eminent distinguished delegates from different states of our country, and those who are earmarked their positions as one of the major town planners, country planners of this country. So on this, on behalf of our institution, I would like to give my special and sincere thanks to Engineer Mihir Kanti Gop sir, the Chief Town Planner of Tripura government, the N. Benju Singh, Chief Town Planner from Manipur government, and Shashi Mohan Srivastav ji from Uttarakhand, though he will not be able to join. So on behalf of him, Senior Town and Country Planner Ms. Shashi Thind will join on behalf of Uttarakhand. So these the three sectors which we are looking forward to discuss about the initiative through this webinar. It's really one of the pertinent issues, and the people, those who are belong from the mountain and hilly areas, their development of the constructions of such kind of climate resilience and adaptability related housing complex, and to fulfill the need of the people is very much important. And in that case, several policies, several regulations, several challenges have to maintain. And that, I think, the stalwarts, those who are joining today, they will enlighten us in a broader aspect and in a better way. So I really eager to, like all of you, I really eager to hear from all of you, sir. And in this regard, once again, I would like to share my sincere thanks and many congratulations for joining us as a part of the SAIARD webinar and the panel and knowledge sharing platform. So with this, once again, I really thanks, and I would like to convey Antara to continue this first parallel session of this webinar. Over to you, Antara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Mr. Mihir Kanti Gop, Chief Town Planner of Tripura Urban Planning and Development Authority, Government of Tripura, to present his special address. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. So first of all, we just want to convey our gratitude to SAIARD, especially Mr. Bishwajit Roy Choudhury, for bringing up this opportunity and platform for having a discussion and challenges and adoptions in maintaining building regulations in hilly states. Everybody knows, and especially we who are residing in hilly states actually, so we know in deep actually, and we are finding all these issues and challenges every day in our everyday life. as urban growth is happening in everywhere in India. And I will have a small presentations to share. May I share my presentation?
Sure, sir.
Yes. Can anyone confirm whether you are seeing my presentation?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
Yes.
it is visible.
You can see now. Okay, so let me carry on. So challenges and adoptions in maintaining building regulations in hilly states. If we look into different things, in one side national building code is there, in other sides every states almost nowadays have their building bylaws, and many states are also some additional things like disaster rules, disaster framework, and also risk management, etc. Now, as far as hilly states are concerned or hilly cities are concerned, by definition, if we go, if anything above 600 meters in height from mean sea level, in that case, in Tripura, we have one district which is coming under this. In Tripura, you know, the 70% hill areas are mostly in forest and 30% are plain bordering Bangladesh. Mainly cities and habitations and urban populations are mostly in the plains, but there are hilly areas also. And in slope, it is if it is 30 degree or more, that we need to recognize. And recently from Mohua also, while framing the rescue from master plan guideline, there are also certain definitions they have given. Now, based on this, state governments may identify and notify areas which would be covered under the hilly areas. Now, for these hilly areas, this need to be dealt with actually special considerations when development activities are taken up. And mainly, if we think something like urban transformation through planned development, then though it is very much obvious. Now, what are the challenges for hill area development? You know, above all, if we see the picture in throughout India is same. The urban population growth is increasing. People from nearby areas, they are trying to habitate themselves in urban areas. Similar pattern is also seen in the hill states, starting from Sikkim to Tripura, everywhere. Now, what are the constraints or challenges we are finding? You can add if any of you are having more information. First is land constraints, because there are limited flat land available for construction. Because you may be an architect, you may be a civil engineer, or even a general person also, always try to select some land which looks to be very plain for any type of construction, maybe a school, office, or maybe a residential building or something. So that's a challenge here, first of all. Then greater dependence on personal vehicles, because everybody wants to have his or her vehicle. He or she finds this comfortable using everybody's own vehicle. So inadequate public transport system is also a constraint. Everywhere we have seen. Now with the assistance from JNRUM and now from Mohua, in many of the states they have started. But still, I think people still they want to depend themselves on personal vehicles. Then congestion and parking pressure beyond the carrying capacity. Narrow roads, limited parking spaces, causing severe traffic congestion in everywhere. You go to Shillong, you go to Agartala, you go to Imphal, you go to any of the district towns of Assam, Sikkim, Gangtok, everywhere. Now, tourism is also a big opportunity. Tourism is the economy of the Northeast or hilly states. But this tourism also boosts the local economy, definitely. But it also puts pressure on the infrastructure resources and the environment. That means if we are thinking on tourism in a great way, so parallelly needs to bring some infrastructure also. Otherwise, it may cause the urban life very poorly. Then occurrence and vulnerability to natural hazards. Now, hill towns, we all know that these are prone to natural disasters, landslides, earthquakes, and floods also. In recent times, you have seen in northern states, in Himachal and Uttarakhand, even now in Sikkim also, many times we have seen in newspapers, tourists are somehow stranded in many places, helicopters are being used, army is being used for rescuing them. So this is a very common scenario in these all places. Then water scarcity. Rainfall is there in almost all hilly cities, but even though limited water sources and seasonal variability result in water storages. If you go to Darjeeling, water being carried out 30 kilometer down somewhere, Lamahata, those places I have seen. This is the story with every of the hill town. Water is being carried out mechanically in tourism seasons. Sometimes tourists are not getting water in hotels. So this is a very common scenario. So that way it affecting both the residents and agriculture also. Housing and urban planning. Now, this is the important thing where we see most unplanned things. Unplanned and informal settlements due to land constraints lead to unsafe housing conditions. Then environmental degradation. Now, deforestation and pollution from increased human activity lead to loss of biodiversity and ecosystem health. In Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Darjeeling, then Guwahati to Tripura and Shillong, everywhere you see, if you go to the tourist destinations, you will witness now rain is not that much, water availability is not that much, and the temperature is also not uh, friendly like it was earlier 20 years back. So all these environmental effects are there. Then climate change impact. Changing weather patterns and more extreme weather events due to climate change. That even the hilly cities also, it is not only plains we are witnessing. Everywhere now heat wave is going on. But it is not heat wave, but a different climating effect we also see in the hilly cities. Then waste management. Difficult terrain complicates waste disposal and management with increased tourism leading to higher waste generation. Few cities have shown, they have started few examples also I have seen. In Gangtok also they have a very good collection of waste and everything. But in other cities, still many things are to be done in this waste management, because the cities which are having tourists, basically in the season, tourist season, it is a very challenging job for the concerned municipalities for managing the waste and all. So mostly I find these are the main challenges for hill area development. You can say hill cities also, same thing. So for urban planners, architects and civil engineers who are engaged or who are responsible for urban development, we all face these issues basically. Maybe it is updating or urbanizing or modernization of building by role, maybe taking up any township, maybe taking up any roads, maybe taking up of any kind of urban development activities, we find these issues. Limited developable land also is a very big constraint. Then there is a tendency among everybody to eat away the mandatory open spaces. Informal settlements, unsafe housing, these are very common issues as a planner we see, because from our hand only all these plans etc. are being passed. But we witnessed this type of tendency from the common people. Then narrow road widths, carrying capacity constraints lead to congestion and inadequate parking. Then there is a seasonal water shortage, I already explained. Now, if theoretically we see, normally the general considerations are common to everywhere. while framing or updating, or you can say modernization of building rules, the common themes is like this. We have to consider as a planner population growth, then awareness towards environment and social concern, impact on development pattern, impact on transportation network and system, tourism, occurrence and vulnerability to natural hazards, impact on existing buildings, impact on open space and social infrastructure, scarcity of buildable land, impact on natural environment, impact on new development, impact on townscape. Few things are not here that I also want to mention. In Northeast, many of the cities have some traditional architecture in the old buildings. Someone built by the then Rajas or Britishes also. So we have to conserve our heritage also. So those are also few things we need to consider. Now, what are the adoptions? Actually, we have the building rules, traffic regulations, pedestrian zones, waste management, water supply management, tourist management, disaster mitigation and preparedness versus response and relief. In many of the states, few things are integrated, but all things are disintegrated also in many of the places. Now, time has come to integrate the thing, because sometimes when a new construction or new project are taken up, maybe by any agency, any private developer or something, when an architect sits on doing the things, exercises and everything, they only sit with the building rule. Because in many of the states now they frame the waste management rules separately, solid waste management rules, liquid waste management rule, then water management. So all those are not integrated with the building rules. So sometimes they only follow the building rules, but they could not see the other regulations and statutory things also. So things are coming up like this also. So we need to integrate in state-wise. If any rules are being adopted for different aspects, time has come, let us integrate this, because state is same, land is same, rule is also framed by the same government. So why not a composite thing? So it will help the entire developer domain, architect domain and civil engineer domain, who are normally are the main stakeholders of constructions. Now, in our Tripura building rules, few of the features what are available or we have included, I would like to mention here, so that we can hear from the other two experts also today. There are provisions using what are the criteria for using a piece of land, then what are the soil stability and slopes, etc. that is mentioned. Then location of landslides, if any, or near the site hill areas detected during reconnaissance. Here actually we are working on GIS based master plan, and we are also working on risk info master plan planning. So there we may identify these lands and locations, and accordingly our building rule needs to be modernized with some amendments or like this. Then subdivision of plots also are being mentioned. In our case, the minimum road width, the site should have 1.5 meter width. This also varies from state to state. Minimum plot size we define as 100 square meter for residential and 40 square meter for non-residential, and should be reasonably secured from hillside slopes. And mandatory soil test and certified slope stability, these are also being mentioned. Obviously, approval from the concerned ULB is required, and minimum width of means of access is 2 meter from the mother plots of 500 square meter and 3 meter for more than 500 square meter size. These are, I think some of these are common also in with other states also. Now, for community purposes, land should be reserved 7.5% to 10%, depending upon the size of the parcel or land size. Similarly, FAR height and means of access are also mentioned. Maybe what would be for residential, commercial and public, and maximum permissible height, means of access, everything we have mentioned. Now ground coverage, maybe here it is more, I think, in comparison to other states, because land value is very high in Tripura. So that's why it is like this. For smaller plots, for residential and educational purposes, it is 70%. For commercial, it is little less. For bigger plots, the percentage is less. So this is in an average percentage of ground coverage. Now this is already I have discussed, 1.5 meter open way should be there. Now car parking is like this. For number of car parking spaces as per covered area of plot, one car parking space should be for every 300 square meter. Similarly, if it is commercial, for every 200, one car parking space should be there. Some synopsises I just put here to have a comparison with other states. Let us also hear from other states how it is there. We are also working on modernization of our building rules. So I hope from these discussions, somebody may light some of the parameters also. It will encourage us to know what is happening in other states also. Now, protective works in Hilly, so slope cutting for development, local ground conditions. So some precautionary things are already mentioned in our rules. Then cutting of slopes over a height of 6 meters, what should be the parameter, how it should be, that is also mentioned. These are about few things what I would like to mention here in this online session, because nowadays what we want to do, everybody is starting from the any of the state government or even the ministry, everybody is wanting, there is let the urban let our urban cities grows and develop. Everybody wants this. Nobody wants to stop this. But everybody nowadays, they speak different little bit. Everybody now what is saying? Saying ki urban transformation through land development. So that everybody wants. So now in Northeast perspective, what I want to mention here, first of all, whoever the people are involved, maybe in town and country planning offices or directorate, in different ULBs, municipality ho, council ho, nagar panchayat ho. Similarly, in different urban authorities, we have also one urban authority in Tripura. In everywhere, the people who are working, mostly technical people, civil engineers, architects, urban planners, urban designers, they have some kind of requirement of more exposure, which is very much required. In service, people who are working here 10 years, 15 years, do not have that much of exposure what is happening in other places. How LAP TPS are most successful in Gujarat or similar other states. So those stories are needs to be shared with them. They may be brought to those places. They may be shown how they have overcome all the land issues and political issues and other social issues. By overcoming all those, how they have developed small TP schemes and all. So this is required. Now things are also not possible to be done at one go. We need to set some examples. We need to some examples, and we need to those examples may be set by some of case studies. So what we want to do here, I have shown one proposal. Proposal is for successful urban transformation in hilly towns, it is essential to conduct town-wise case studies. Maybe from every state, one hill cities may be chosen, and they may be given to some professional institutes as already identified by the government of India from MOHUA, maybe SPA, IIT or any NIT or any reputed consulting firm recognized by government of India. They may take up some case studies for a particular one city in each of these northeastern states, and then they can identify how these issues may be, I mean, the states may frame some rules and everything, modernization rule amendment, so that all these issues are being taken care of, and the states may work on urban transformation through plan development. So this is one, I think, maybe this type of proposal, if it goes to MOHUA, also government of India may also be encouraged. because from MoHUA side, they have already identified 4 institutes across our country. SPA Delhi is there, IIT Kharagpur is there, then CEPT University, Ahmedabad is there, another fourth one is there. I do not remember the name readily here. Besides few NIT also, uh, who are working in urban planning sector, they can be adopted. So these things are required because this is very fully technical kind of thing actually, which requires in-depth analysis and data collection and compilation, and also comparing with the history and how the city has developed, what is the importance, what are the economic activities, all these things that need to be considered. Now, these institutes may focus on developing comprehensive plans to overcome these challenges. The aim is to utilize these studies to create actionable strategies that can be adopted by the government and implemented to ensure sustainable and regulated development in states. Similarly, to adopt a development of a monitoring system also, because once we approve a plan, we do not take any responsibilities further, whether the developer uh, following all the required safety measures or not. Nobody is there to see from the government side. Once the plan is passed, it is the developer responsibility to engage professional people, structural consultant, architect and civil engineers from his behalf to see the quality part. So that is also a vulnerable part actually. We do not know how much the developers are maintaining that. So these are the things actually from my side. Maybe I have taken little more time. So I hope you will all bear it. So this is thank you from my side, and thank you for patience hearing. Over to Mr. Vishwajit.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your thought-provoking session. Now I request Mrs. Shalu Thind, Senior Town and Country Planner, CTCP Uttarakhand, to present her address. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Ms. Antra, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Yes. So I am Senior Town and Country Planner from Government of Uttarakhand. I received a short notice for this presentation, so I have not prepared any presentation. I'll be talking about the building rules and regulation which are prevalent in the state of Uttarakhand. So, most of the issues which Mr. Kanti from Tripura have highlighted, we all have the same issues in the hilly states. So, coming to the specifically to the state of Uttarakhand, I'll give a brief description that 60% of our area is of forest cover, and 86% is hilly area, and 14% we have plain area. 4 districts are there in plain areas. Then we have notified national parks and eco-sensitive zones like Gangotri eco-sensitive zones. So number of restrictions are there on the urban development in hilly areas. So we have very limited developable land, and optimum utilization of this developable land is very imminent actually. So, as NBC has described the hilly areas, like they say that above 600-meter altitude, those areas are they qualify as hilly areas. But in our case, we have some valley areas which are less than 600 meters. For example, there is a town Srinagar up in the hills, not of Jammu Kashmir, of Uttarakhand. This town is of Uttarakhand, Srinagar. Its altitude is 560 meters, and it's right on the river Ganges. So, as per NBC, this does not qualify as a hilly area. But as per our study, that is purely a hill area. Though it is a valley, but it's above in the altitude areas. So we have described some areas in our building bylaws as hilly areas, which as per NBC are not hills. So 600 meter is not only the criteria, we have looked at other criteria as well to identify the area as plain or hill. Accordingly, we have defined different bylaws for hills and plains in terms of setbacks, ground coverage, and most importantly, the building height. In hills, we have permitted only the maximum building height is 12 meters only. That is 4 floors, including stilt. And we have discouraged the stilt in our building regulations in hilly areas because it is a soft story, which is most vulnerable to earthquake. So we have restricted the building height as 12 meters in hilly areas. And in some areas, like we have Char Dham areas, Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath, and Badrinath, there we have restricted the building height to only to 2 floors, looking at the terrain of that area. And in the plains, like we have major cities in plains, Dehradun, Haridwar, and then we have some towns in Kumaon area as well. There we have restricted the building height to 30 meters. That is maximum 10 floors only. And coming back to hill areas, the other criteria in building bylaws is that above 30 degrees slope, the construction is not permissible. And hill cutting is also limited to only to 3 meters height. Then we have given the extra FAR for promoting the green buildings also. So the FAR is actually dependent upon the maximum building height only because we have restrictions of maximum building height. And that maximum building height is also dependent upon the existing right of way. Because if we give a higher building height in narrow lanes, that will induce traffic in those narrow lanes. So we have a building height dependent upon the existing right of way as well. So this is the specific thing which we have done in our bylaws. And then there is another clause in the hill areas that 2 meters from the retaining wall has to be left for the construction. But again, the issue is of implementation only, that the things are not truly implemented in spirit on the land. So that is the major issue of implementation. Then the problem which we face in our state is of a floating population. No carrying capacities have been worked out for floating populations. So you can very well understand the menace of the traffic jams and everything during the season. And moreover, when we talk of the construction practices, we have empaneled structure engineers in our state who provide the structure drawings to the construction team. We empanel them from the state level itself. But again, the quality check is the issue. Like who is going to check the quality of those constructions? That is the major issue. And then there is demand for increasing height of the buildings also in the state. Like there is a pressing demand to increase the height beyond 30 meters. But because it is a seismic zone, we have a major boundary thrust in our major cities. Fault lines are there. So it has really become a challenge for the state how to incorporate these things in the bylaws. Then road traffic and public transportation is the right. There is a challenge how to increase the right of way. We have proposed good right of ways in our master plans, but there's no mechanism how to increase because acquisition has really become very difficult these days. So we have very less right of ways, and the traffic is increasing day by day. That is a major problem. And then other problem which we face is of the local material. We give stress on using the local materials, but what local materials are available? Wood and stone, and wood is not easily available actually. So we cannot actually stress upon the use of the local material also. So RCC is only it's the only viable option left for construction. So these are the major building bylaws and regulations in the state and the issues which we are facing. Like potable water is also an issue, though we have major rivers in our state, but towns which are high in altitude, like Mussoorie is a tourist town, so we have pumped water from the Yamuna River to Mussoorie. Like it's 100 feet altitude difference between the Yamuna River and Mussoorie. So during the tourist season, water scarcity is the major problem. Even if we are pumping from Yamuna, still it will not suffice in the future. And then parking is the issue as always. Then there is another problem is the construction which is going on. Like it is leading to heat island effect also, which is affecting the climate change. And though we have tried a lot to preserve the tree cover, like we have big orchards also. So to preserve the orchards also, we have given some incentives to the owners, like they can construct the eco resorts within the orchards while maintaining the character of the orchard itself. Like we are trying to induce the TDR policy also to preserve the orchards. In other states, TDR is being used for urban areas only, but in our state, in our policy, we have tried to incorporate this thing for agriculture and orchard area also. So in this way, through TDR, we might be able to preserve our green cover. And then I would like to conclude with the remark that sensitization of the professionals is required at utmost, because the practicing architects, structure engineers, or civil engineers, they need to sensitize their clients as well regarding the building bylaws and the effect of their violations. So the implementation which I was talking about, the implementation weakness, it has to be plugged by our professionals which are working in this field. So that's all from my side. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your informative session. May I now request Mr. N. Benzu Singh, Chief Town Planner, Town Planning Department, Government of Manipur, to present his address. Over to you, sir.
Uh, Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I myself, Benzu Nongthombang. I'm the State Town Planner of Manipur. I passed out architecture from MSU University, Vadodara in 1996. And since after 1996 to 98, I did my master's from SAIARD Ahmedabad. And from 1998 till now, I'm in Town Planning Department, working and now at present serving as a State Town Planner. See, before I finally conclude, go to the challenges faced in maintaining building regulations in Manipur, let me just take a glimpse of Manipur state for the knowledge of all those attendees over here. Like we are situated, Manipur is situated at the level of around 790 meters above mean sea level. So by default, we, as per the definition of hill area, we are in the hill. We are hills. We are defined as a hill area. But then within the hills, we have a separation of hill area and the valley area. Like as Tripura has said it, it's around 70-30, 70 forest area and 30 flat area. Uttarakhand is 60-40. And for Manipur, it's 90-10. So 90% is forest area and hill area, and 10% is the valley area. So it's like a bowl shape. The flat valley area is a bowl like in the center, and it's all surrounded by 9 ranges of mountains. So it's almost like a bowl shape. The issue over here is we have around 27 urban local bodies, and all these 27 urban local bodies are located in this valley area, excepting one Ziri district. That's in the hill area. Others 26 ULBs are in the valley. So our building bylaws and every planning norms and all are all concentrated in the flat land only. So as of now, we don't have much about cutting of slopes and construction in slope areas and all. So we are dealing basically with flat areas as of now. So it's I think except for Assam, Tripura, and Manipur, most of the northeastern states are in the terrains. So let me come to the challenges faced in maintaining building regulations in Manipur. Like I would highlight only 3 points. There are the three major factors that is the challenges that we encountered as a challenge while regulating this building regulations and all in the urban local bodies. The first is, see, the conversion of the Nagar Panchayats to the statutory towns on political influences or on the political whims only. Previously, around 6-7 years back, we have only 8 municipal councils out of the 27 ULBs as of now. So the remainings were all Nagar Panchayats. And these Nagar Panchayats were converted to the statutory towns, even though they don't have any urban characters. Most of them doesn't have an urban characters, but then they are converted to the urban statutory towns, and by by being statutory towns, and all those urban obligations has to be fulfilled by those ULBs. And there's the area where the major challenges occurs. Like see, because and the second case is the conversion of the Nagar Panchayats as a statutory towns by political influence. Because of that, only all those urban local bodies are having acute shortage of staffs. They don't have enough engineers, they don't have enough architects. And just imagine urban local bodies without a full-fledged architect and a full-fledged engineers. Then how will they regulate the building regulations in the urban areas? There's a major problem we have. Even we have one corporation, Imphal Municipal Corporation, that's around 2.68 lakh population, the biggest city of Manipur. There's only class 1 town in the state. Even that corporation doesn't have a single architect as of now. But we are introducing online building permission system in Imphal Municipal Corporation. For the last 2 years, we have been running this OBPS, online building permission systems. And just imagine online building permission system operating without an architect and without enough staffs and engineers to go for the site visit and all. With very few staffs, we are managing the urban local bodies. That's the dilemma. There's the problem we have. I just wanted to highlight in this platform. Like see, in regulating the building bylaws, the third issue I would put up as a challenge is here. Like we have 90 square meter as the minimum size of plots to for building bylaws this approval process. But then because of the fragmentation or the subdivision of plots, this 90 square meter, there were many instances where the applicant, this building proposal applicants, their plot size is well below 90 square meter. And because of that, we couldn't apply this building bylaws over there. And because of that, only they have freedom. Even though we have authorized the architect to sign for those plots having less than 90 square meter, but then things are becoming haphazard. I mean, there was no proper control, and the city is like is an urban sprawl only. There was no regulation. There was no control of the FSI. There are no accounts taken on of FSI or FAR. We have introduced this G+7 permissible height is G+7. We have recently permitted revised, amended the building bylaws. So at present we have this G+7. So like when we increase the building height up to G+7, we need to be very cautious. We need to be very what do you call, very stringent on in allotment of the FSIs. Like every urban planning tools, say let's take TDR, TOD, or affordable housing, or TLAP, TPS, everything is on FSI. When a municipality or a municipal corporation or municipal council doesn't have a proper account of the FSI, when they haven't checked how much FSI is utilized by the owner and how much FSI has been left, without that accounting, how can we introduce TDR? TDR is like a threat of FSI. How can a buyer, how can a TDR certificate holder sell his TDR when there is no buyer, and when the municipality is very liberal in the issue of this FSI, when there was no control on the building regulation, then the owners have the liberty to utilize as much FSI as they can. So with this scenario, we can never have an ideal TDR, even though we have a TDR policy in place. It's very difficult to implement because of this lack of accounting of this FSI utilized and FSI reserve, FSI shared. Like the account of the FSI is not there. The same case for the TOD also, this transit-oriented development. While you densifying these TOD corridors, densifying is on the FSI only. The premium FSI, when there won't be no buyer to buy an FSI at a higher rate when we don't have a stringent action against the FSI users in this municipality. The same case for the affordable housing also, the LEP TPS also. We bargain in the town planning scheme. We bargain with the owners that will give extra premium FSI for the land donated for this TPS. But then nobody find this as a lucrative because this FSI is not an issue over here, since the municipality doesn't have proper implementation of the building bylaws. So my challenges is like, until and unless we have a proper this controlling mechanism of the building regulations, when we have enough staffs to implement the building regulations, only then we can think of having TDR, TOD, or this affordable housing or LEP TPS. This is the the challenges. The challenges, I think most of the Northeastern states must be facing this. The towns who doesn't have an urban character is converted to the Nagar Panchayat who doesn't have an urban character were converted to towns, and because of being by default as a town, they need to do all those obligations of controlling the building regulations and all. But how can they do without having a proper architect and engineers and technical staffs? That's the I think major problem we face as far as Manipur is concerned. And like we tried our best to improve the urban scenario. Like we have this GIS based master plan preparation taking means it's underway now. We have so far 6 towns under this AMRUT for the GIS based master plan, and 4 towns under state funding, and 17 towns are again in the process of preparing master plan, all GIS-based risk-informed master plans. These are the steps we have, we envisage for the next 20-30 years. But then for all these things to happen, to be effective, we need a proper, ecosystem, what we call a planners ecosystem. We need to have enough planner staff. We need to have enough architects. We need to have enough engineers in all the ULBs. Most of our ULBs, 20 out of 27 ULBs, only few are having building bylaws. Many of them doesn't have a building bylaws. So sustaining an urban local body without full-fledged staffs is a major challenge. That's what I wanted to highlight in this forum. I think with these few words, I'll conclude my speech here. Thanks for the patient hearing. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this valuable session. Now I'd like to pass the floor to our next session, which will involve an open discussion and a question and answer session. And the session moderator will be Professor Bishwajit Roy Chaudhuri, founder chairperson, SAIARD. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Antara. And first of all, thank you all our esteemed delegates, because they have highlighted very important issues regarding the challenges which we have. The plain land people will not be able to understand. And the policies, the regulations, the maintaining the building construction laws, everything is a very difficult manner, whether it is in a hilly state and in such a vulnerable and fragile state of land. I think first of all, on behalf of SAIARD, I want to give a special thanks to all of them. So my point is that there are several points they have, our speakers, honorable speakers, they have points. So that point is that Madam has also mentioned that is the heat island type. So you know that every country, every city has to design the climate action plan. And I would like to request, ma'am, if you enlighten us, is there any GIS-based master plan they are doing? I know that, but whether in case of the climate action plan, cities resilience sector, whether any GIS-based, evidence-based, research-oriented planning they are doing. I mean, the government of Uttarakhand is taking care for that. And secondly, in case of the hill cities resilience sector, particularly in the disaster resilience building materials for using the hill cities construction, etc. So, what kind of initiatives government of Uttarakhand has taken, and what are the third question is that what are the other possibilities to work in case of the public-private partnership mode in such case of to support the Uttarakhand government in that case. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes. So, like I was talking about heat island effect, because that is the construction technology which is prevalent in our cities, RCC and concrete and everything. That is contributing to heat island effect. Talking about the local material, if we have in our bylaws, we have written that you have to use the local materials and climate resilient construction should be there. But the local material again, it consists of wood and stone only, right? For wood, we have to cut the trees that we are not permitting the people to cut. And again, the technology that the construction technique is so tedious that our new masons, they are not aware of those techniques. So the easy to them and affordable to them is the concrete construction only. That is easily affordable and easily constructible also. And masons are well versed with the construction techniques. So that is the major issue which we are facing. How to promote the local material. Like, we don't want to promote the wood. We don't want to cut the trees. So how to promote? That is the challenge basically. And regarding the Amrut master plans, we have prepared 7 Amrut master plans in our state under Amrut 1 mission. Under Amrut 2, we are going to undertake 23 towns, class 2 towns, 23 class 2 towns. But in that also, this aspect is totally missing, how much heat island effect particular development will create. Like if we are promoting, we are assigning land uses like a commercial, residential and everything. And as per FAR, how much heat contribution will be done by these constructions? There is no calculation on that. We talk about the carrying capacity, but there is no set formula how to calculate the carrying capacity of a particular town. Like in Rishikesh, we have done some efforts to calculate the carrying capacity, because it is a feature logged area, limited area. On 3 sides it is covered by the national park, and on 4th side is the river Ganga. So there is no scope of horizontal expansion in that city. So we have very limited land in that city. Based upon the land availability, we have calculated the carrying capacity of that city. That is the maximum and optimum absorption of that city. Based upon other resources also, like potable water is available in abundance because Ganga river is nearby only, and other springs are also available. So we need customized carrying capacity calculations for each and every town. And this aspect, I'm sorry to say, this aspect is totally missing in the master plan exercise. Like, we hire consultants also for to prescribe some best practices from around the world, but they are also unable to produce some concrete results in this aspect. So actually, we are trying hard to work on this aspect, how to um, bring about these calculations positively. So that is the thing. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I like to point that point in that sense, because most of the cases cities are focusing for the climate action plan and climate cities resilience, etc. The terminology, but I think
Yes.
in this case the technology should be the most important part can play. Because on behalf of our institution, we did one research work in case of the Kolkata municipal area as well as the Howrah municipal area, and we have designed the frame of which areas are now is the heat island zone. And if that kind of graphical presentation, graphical map you have in your hand, and there will be on one kind of geoportal, you can take immediate actions through the ground truthing and to take some initiative for the heat island measure. Because in case of the hilly areas, there is a challenge, as you are rightly mentioned, that there is a lack of capacity building about those who are practitioners working on the cement building construction sectors, and also there is a challenges for environmental and economic development part. So I think that part, hopefully the government will definitely think about it in case of the capacity building of such kind of practitioners, as well as those who are associated with the government level, in case of the more resilient way incorporation of the technology, in case of the designing the framework of the climate resilience, like the heat island mapping of the state, as that's government can take immediate actions on that.
Yes.
So thank you, ma'am. And now I would like to come to the almost similar points, but one question we have came from Mr. Subranil Chakravarti from Jadavpur University. I think, Subranil, if you kindly mention your question to whom I would like to ask, so then I will do. But the question is that the hill states are struggling with water source sustainability. Are there any specific initiatives being taken by the urban department to mandate the construction of networks for reclaiming wastewater, especially grey water, and implementing rainwater harvesting? And secondly, he asked, additionally, are there any other alternatives being pursued by stakeholders to mitigate the issue of freshwater scarcity? Now, I would like to request to Mihir sir, if you kindly enlighten us on these two issues.
Yes, is definitely relevant to every of the states. I think most of the building bylaws have the clauses ki while we give the permission, building permission for different kind of building institutes or whatever, first of all, provision of rainwater harvesting must be there. But sizes, etc., may be different. For small building, certain compulsion. For a bigger building, different compulsion. It is already there. In our state also, it is there. For different type of square meter, it is differently mentioned. But it is a must one. Secondly, other waste management also for bigger projects, that project should have its own STP, etc. These are also mentioned. You cannot put the grey water or black water in the open drain. So this has also come up. Third thing regarding, as Madam was mentioning from the risk informed master plan, we will also enable every of the state to identify the vulnerable areas where there should be no construction, first of all. Secondly, there may be limited construction. Third, there may be some construction. So that way, every state is working on things. We are also working on our 3 major towns. And in the master plan also, we are identifying the water sources which are available. In Tripura kind of situation, we have many water bodies in the plains. Some are private, some are semi-private, some are community owned, and some are government owned. So our master plan will also work how to protect all these water bodies. In fact, in our Tripura, we have around 20 urban cities. One is Agartala, that is being taken under Amrut 1. Another class 2 and class 3, 16 towns are being taken from Amrut 2.0. Similarly, from the state fund, we are doing 3 left out small cities. So in that case, all the cities are being taken care of for master plan preparation. And we are also being helped by NRSC Hyderabad and also NSEC Shillong and our Tripura State Application Center, TSEC. They are also helping us. Now all this we will identify and how to protect all the water bodies. Secondly, regarding the to mitigate the issue of fresh water, obviously our different every state has a state application center. We are also having under the guidance of NESEC. They have a complete map of our water resources, including underground and overground, all the resources. So those are being mapped, and out of that, some kind of strategy needs to be taken. Earlier, though, there was no data actually. Nowadays, with the help of state application center, we are having all those data. Water resource pool data is available in respect of our state. So things are started. I think by the time many agencies are also available in many of the states, because in planning sector, every state is working. Master plans, even the small cities are also taken up. Earlier, to only the capital cities and big authorities were only talking about master plans. But nowadays, even class 2, class 3 category all still are taken care of for preparation of master plans. Maybe in a year of 2 to 3 years or even 4 years, we will have a clear picture of our resources also, and also the strategy, how to work on those and how to protect those and all these things. So these are in general actually. I think similar picture is also there in other states. I have seen one hand is raised. Mr. Vishnudeep, you please see.
Yes. So, yeah, I saw that Hilly ma'am has raised her hand. Ma'am, please.
Yes. Here, I would like to add that government of India, they had undertaken urban reforms project in 2022-23. So under that project, one aspect was sponge city creation. In that, they had given the mandate to every state to rejuvenate their lakes to recharge the water table. So that
Yes.
project is also being undertaken by different states to protect their lakes and to replenish the groundwater through that project. So that is also there.
So, ma'am, in that case, I would like to point that whether in case of spawn cities, you have mentioned, so
Yeah.
whether the water body sensors, the water body sources are coming from tree also, especially the groundwater. So whether tree sensors, water body sensors are doing in your state.
Actually, I'm not sure about the project details because that is being dealt by another department, urban development department. So they are looking
Okay.
after that.
And
Yes.
maybe, sir, I have just recently been visited your state for some official work, and I saw there are several works are doing on behalf of your department. So, in case of what ma'am has mentioned, so whether the same thing, and I would like to point the points of Mr. Subramanian Chakraborty regarding the rainwater harvesting sector. So, is there water body sensors are running, starting that kind of initiative? To what are the water resources are there, connect in a through a geospatial database or map. Right now, everything is focused on the after national geospatial policy implementation. Everything is focused in such a way. That's why I'm just asking, because
Yes,
it's a very
actually,
important.
Madam has rightly mentioned regarding the spawn cities. Spawn cities is an approved item of works under the AMRUT. So in our state
Mm.
also, we have taken few large water bodies for their protection and everything. It is not simply ki you are putting some wall kind of thing around the lakes. It is not the thing. Thing is totally eco-friendly culture should be protected. So that way it is being taken care of. So project should be like that only. Because in protection of water bodies, we sometimes see ki we are just putting some ban in and around the water bodies. But this spawn city is a full different concept. So that means it should have the capacity to retain the rainwater fast. It should not flood the nearby areas. So this is also one point. And water should be properly stored and its ecological balance should be maintained so that its water quality, etc., are being taken care of. Now, there are some secondary things are also with this. Suppose some beautification in the banks and etc. So that's are also being done. So these are also allowed. So this is actually spawn cities, mostly the surface water, lakes, etc., ponds, etc. These are being taken care of. So I think in other states are also there. It is.
Right, true, sir. So I think Benju sir would like to highlight some points. Sir, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to supplement what Mr. Tihir Kante and Salu Thind have mentioned about. That's regarding the Spawn City. We do have also, identify the lowest lying area of the Imphal city, and there we have, created an artificial lake of around 500 acres. The work is in progress. It's around 30 feet deep lake. We have been is halfway done now. That's how the Spawn City's work has been taken up in our state. And regarding that reuse of this wastewater, grey water, uh, like this is in Amrut mission is to have 20% of the water supply through the reuse of this wastewater, treated wastewater, and then we are working toward that also. And the first step we are doing is that we have introduced this dual piping system in the building bylaws. The dual piping system is the first step, and we are working towards the this reuse of wastewater. And the lake, the artificial lake which I mentioned about, just beside that we have the STP. The effluent from the STP will be treated there, and then it will be discharged to that lake, and that will act as the source of water supply later on. And again, during the flood season, also it act as the flood retention area. Yeah, thanks.
I saw Salu ma'am also raised her hand. Ma'am, please.
Yes, I just wanted to highlight about the dual piping system regarding grey water recycling system. So we have recently included that in our building bylaws, the dual piping system. So that will help a lot.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yes.
And SAIARD Kolkata, I think one of our officials would like to ask. Yeah, please.
Sir, actually, my name is Shantanu Samanta. I am a research scientist of SAIARD. In this context, I would like to ask our distinguished panelists regarding challenges and adaptation in maintaining building regulations in hill state. When we are discussing about water securities in hill state also. So my question is, and I would like to also add some point that is spring set rejuvenation to harvest water and increase water flow throughout the year. This program of Government of India is taking place through our pan-Indian Himalayan states. Is there any direct impact in this particular issue of to maintain adaptations in maintaining building regulations, and how people are getting benefited from these particular missions? So I would like to ask all the panelists from different states, sir and madam, if there are any valuable insights from them, so we'll be benefited and we'll be able to know all the scenarios. Thank you.
Mihir sir, please.
Madam was telling something, please, madam. आप बोलिए.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I
Ma'am,
just wanted to get the clarification on the question, what was being asked. Just please clarify. Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, the spring set rejuvenation program of Government of India on behalf of Government of India
Yeah.
is taking place through entire Himalayan states or pan-Himalayan state, you can say. So, is there any impact of urban people or people are getting benefited from this particular mission? Government of India actually springs of Himalayan states are drying up in this climate change context. But from springs set rejuvenation and management program, is urban people of hilly states are getting benefited from this particular mission. And what is the scenario of Uttarakhand on this particular spring set management program or rejuvenation program to rejuvenate springs of Himalaya?
Springs. You are talking about the first order streams and the springs, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, springs.
Yes.
And Sikkim, one of Himalayan states, is Sikkim is pioneer state who is made tremendous work on this particular mission. So they are setting an example. So
Mhm.
what are the scenarios of Uttarakhand, like Tripura and Manipur? So
Yes, in Uttarakhand, the spring water, this protection of spring water, that is being undertaken by Urban Development Department. So they have identified some first order springs in the hilly areas, and there the local name of those springs is Nola. They call them Nola. So they preserve those areas, and the construction is limited up to 20 meters of those nolas. Like you cannot construct right up to the spring area. 20-meter buffer has to be left around the spring area. So that is the basic thing which I know about this project. And obviously, the people will benefit if these are being preserved. Yeah.
Yeah, for the Manipur case, I just wanted to add some few points. Like the mission, Amrut mission is water security. It's like every state is supposed to have this Amrut mission implemented. They in the Amrut mission, it's one of the integral part of Amrut mission to to rejuvenate the water bodies of all the local ponds and all. We have done the census of all the water bodies in the urban areas. Entire state Manipur urban areas water body has been mapped, and then we have a DPR around 300 400 pages DPR. All the details, all the categorization of this water bodies, quality of water body of all the ponds, water bodies in the urban areas has been mapped. Besides, we have this in under Amrut 2.0. And just one at the hillock, just at the foothill of hillock, we have introduced, we have started this rainwater harvesting park, and one oxygen park is there. Rainwater harvesting park, there will be demonstrating around 20, more than 20 types of rainwater harvesting techniques. And it will be like a science center where it can be, school students can come there and have a thorough knowledge of all those local harvesting, this rainwater harvesting from that park. So this is a step where we have taken off to get the urban populace to get benefited from this Amrut mission in the case of this water security. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, yes.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Me, sir, please.
In Tripura scenario, actually, there is no such good number of springs, etc. are there, but we have perennial sources. So now to manage those perennial sources, what has been taken care of with the forest department, they have separate afforestation program, which has been every year financed from the government of India. Different schemes are there. Even the rural Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Schemes, MGNREGS, that also allows few afforestations under community land or community places. Or under that, Tripura, what has been done in upstream end of these perennial sources, maybe small river or stream. So afforestation program are being taken. So that is actually causing the taking care of the management of the water resources, you can say, because what is the problem in Tripura? Tripura has more than 200 centimeter rainfall every year. But what is, we could not hold this rainwater. It always goes floats to Bangladesh. So in Tripura conditions, with this much of rainfall, we should not have any water scarcity in actual. But thing is, runoff is very fast because deforestation took place in years and years. So every year it goes increases. So this allows water to just heavily, you can say very speedily move to Bangladesh. So now to manage this, it is the main actually requirement. We need to take much massive afforestation program in the basins, in the upstreams of every of the, that means origin places of these all our tributaries. which are actually gives us perennial water throughout the year. So that has been taken care of. So these are being started, you can say.
That's really great, and I think that's kind of small step initiative should definitely help us to become a climate resilient city. And I think like rainwater harvesting, as Shubhamil asked, I also mentioned there is a spring water harvesting, because in case of the hilly cities, the major problems they are facing, that is the water scarcity related issues. And it is always the lifeline, you know that, and as we are also mentioning that on behalf of our institution, we are doing several initiatives, particularly in case of the riverine cities, riverine mapping, geospatial application to design some concept note on that basis, evidence-based research to support the policy advocacy sector. So in that case, on through this platform, I'd like to say that if any kind of support on behalf of our institution we can do to our expertise level, we will be happy to support to the respective state officials, those who have joined today. And now I think the point for conclusion. So I would like to request our research scientist, Mr. Shantanu Shamanta, to share the vote of thanks for today's session. Over to you, Shantanu.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, distinguished speakers, delegates, and participants. As we draw near to the conclusion of our insightful discussion on the challenges and adaptations in maintaining building regulations in hilly states of India, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks you to each and every one of you who has contributed to making this event a success. Today, we have delved into the complexities of ensuring safe and sustainable construction practices in regions characterized by rugged terrain and fragile ecological environmental conditions. We have explored the regulatory frameworks, innovative solutions, and the collaborative efforts required to address these challenges effectively. I wish to express my gratitude to our distinguished speakers and panelists for sharing their expertise and experiences. Mr. Mihir Kanti Gop, sir, Chief Town Planner of Tripura Urban Planning and Development Authority, Government of Tripura, and Mrs. Shalu Thind, Senior Town and Country Planner, CTCP Uttarakhand, and Mr. N. Venju Singh, sir, Chief Town Planner, Town Planning Department, Government of Manipur. Sir and Madam, your valuable insights have shed light on the multifaceted aspects of building regulations in hilly areas, inspiring us all to rethink and adapt our approaches. And a special thanks to our organizing institute, SAIARD, and our chairperson, Professor Biswajit Roy Choudhury, for their unwavering support, without which this session would not have been possible. Your commitment to promoting knowledge exchange and sustainable development is truly commendable. Last but not the least, I extend my appreciation to each attendee here today. Your active participation and engagement have enriched our discussions and underscored the importance of collaborative efforts in overcoming challenges on adaptations in maintaining building regulations in hilly states of India. As we depart from this gathering, let us carry forward the insights gained and the occasions made. Together, we can constitute to strive towards building safer, more resilient communities in hilly regions and beyond. Thank you once again for your contributions and commitment. Here's to future where our buildings not only meet regulatory standards, but also harmonize with natural landscapes they inhabit. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Sir, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.